All right, good evening, everybody. It is 6:30, so we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is the Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting of Wednesday, August 20th, 2025 in Assembly Chambers. Could everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could I get a roll call, please?
Ms. Frazier,
Here.
Mr. Neff,
Here.
Mr. Dagan,
Present.
Ms. Craig,
Here.
Ms. Williamson,
Here.
Mr. Cleary, Mr. Mangini. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Could I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the agenda as presented? Okay, all in favor of approval?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, we have ourselves an agenda. Let's go ahead and move on to item number 5, which is approval of the minutes of the Planning and Zoning July 16th, 2025 regular meeting. Again, I'll request a motion for approval.
I move to approve the Planning and Zoning July 16th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any discussion on the minutes? No discussion on the minutes. All in favor of approval as presented?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Okay. Minutes are approved. Let's move on to citizens' comments. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. To make comments by phone, you can use our local number at 907-486-3231 or our toll-free number at 855-492-9202. We ask that you state your name for the record. If you're here in the audience, we also ask that you sign in. And that your comments be of general topics only and address the body as a whole. Nobody on the phone, Haley? Okay. All right. Seeing nobody wishing to make comments, we'll go ahead and move on to public hearings. Right. First item that we have for public hearing this evening is the Planning and Zoning Capital Improvement Project List. Recommendations for FY 2026 through FY 2030. Bronwyn, can we get a staff report, please?
Good evening, Commissioners. Before you is resolution number FY 2026-02. At last week's meeting, we did the priority list, and as Commissioners, you guys did your priority for the projects, and this is what you guys came up with. If you guys vote on it tonight, it'll go before the Assembly after the 4th of September. If you guys postpone it, we could get it to them in October. And that would have to be the absolute latest month we could get that to them. It has to be 90 days before the end of the calendar year.
Madam Chair.
I skipped getting a motion on the floor.
I was just about to point that
Okay, so I didn't want to start any discussion until we got a motion in front of us in a second.
Gladly, I will make a move to approve the resolution FY 2026-02 capital improvement projects list.
Thank you. Does anybody want to second that?
I second.
Thanks, Tracy. Okay.
And as a quick little follow-up, Nick Mangini is not here tonight, but he did supply us with a comment as he was not here at last week's meeting either. And that should be before you tonight as well.
Yep. I did see that, Bronwyn. Thank you. I'll have to thank Nick for providing his perspective too. It's much appreciated. For the commissioners that are here this evening, is there any discussion on the draft ordinance we have before us this evening?
I think we had discussed during our work session about delaying this. And so I would be agreeable to delay it a month or two to right before our window of the 90 days. Chris, did you have a,
We'll
It-
want to do the public hearing.
It would have to be delayed to next month, and you would have to vote on it next month. You could not delay it 2 months, just
Okay.
so
So
we can
it's
get
only
that
a
out of our
1
head.
month. Brown,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
thanks, Brown.
Yep.
Okay. So, that's my 2 cents. When it's time for a motion, I will certainly propose.
I'm in agreement that some additional discussion at the work session next month would be beneficial, just in hopes that maybe more of our commissioners will be available, and we can get as many perspectives as possible before we finalize this and send this to the assembly. Given that there's a consensus for postponing this to next month, little guidance from staff. Should we open the public hearing this evening and then postpone it, or just postpone it?
So you've already opened the public hearing. I do recommend that if you guys, it sounds like you guys are going to move forward with postponing it, I recommend amending your original motion that Mr. Dagan just put on the floor to postpone it to next month, and then that would take that original motion off the floor. So there wouldn't be one already on the floor for next month, so there's no confusion when opening up.
Okay, and you provided the appropriate motion in your staff report cover page for this agenda item.
I did, yes. I did not have Haley put it in there because we weren't sure how it was going to go, and I didn't want anyone to get confused with having multiple motions on this one.
I just want to point that out in case you guys did not see that. We actually do have some help from staff.
I'm scrolling down the packet to that recommendation. Stand by. It's on which screen?
If you,
Up,
Oh, boy.
up there on the TV.
if you open up the case, it should be the very first page. It's the opening, it's on the opening letter page. So you should be able to click either on the 3 dashed icons.
Alternatives.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe I found it.
Got it.
Chairwoman
Uh,
Sarah, I move to amend the
Bron-
original motion.
Go ahead, Bronwyn.
I just wanted to ask, was there any direction I was supposed to be working on this in the time being between now and next month before we go through with that motion? And we cut the discussion off?
No, I
No?
think
Okay.
the consensus is that we'll leave it as is for now, anticipating, though, potential changes based on discussion at the work session
Okay.
next month.
Okay, super sorry for interrupting, Commissioner.
Thank you, Bowen. I move to amend the original motion to postpone Resolution FY 2026-02 to September 17th's regular meeting.
We have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Haley, would you prefer a roll call vote, or can we do a voice vote?
It is roll call vote for public hearing.
Okay. All right, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Dagan,
Yes.
Ms. Craig,
Yes.
Ms. Williamson.
Yes.
Would anyone wish to change their vote? Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Our next public hearing item is case number 25-010, foreclosed properties.
Madam Chair.
Yes,
So you
sir.
amend, so you all voted to amend the motion to postpone. You still need to vote on the.
Oh,
motion
on the
that's been
original
amended.
motion after we amended it.
They just amended the original.
We amended the,
So it takes it off the table.
Oh, I thought they had to vote again. Okay, all right, sorry.
They amended the original motion.
Yeah, I think since
you would
am-
like for us to vote on the original motion as amended?
Correct. So you amended it to postpone and voted to, for the amendment to pass. Then you're
Okay.
going to have to vote on that motion as amended.
I move to,
Well, we don't need to make another motion. Now we just have to do a roll call vote on the original motion as amended.
Yes.
Okay. Let's do roll call vote round 2.
Miss Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Dagan,
As amended, yes.
Miss Craig,
Yes.
Miss Williamson.
Yes.
Would anyone wish to change their vote? Motion passes.
Thank you. Thanks for that, Chris. Now we will move on to item B, which is case number 25-010, foreclosed properties. Legal description ASLS 87-43, Tract E, Shearwater Bay, property ID 19397, and Aleutian Block 3, Lot 15, with the address 214 Maple Street. Request for review of land disposal for future land sale.
All right, thank you. Chris Fridge, Community Development.
They did not make a motion
motion.
yet.
Oh,
Correct. And I move to adopt Planning and Zoning Commission Resolution Number FY 2026-003.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Go ahead and get staff report,
all right,
please.
thank you. What you have before you is Planning and Zoning Commission Resolution Number FY 2026-003. This is related to two tax foreclosed properties required in accordance with Borough Code and Alaska statutes. The current use of the foreclosed properties are in conformance to the future land use map designation for each property. The Tract E, Shearwater Bay, ASLS 87-43 is located within the Kodiak Island Borough and is currently vacant. The borough does not have a public use or future use for this property. Therefore, the property can go through the disposal process as proposed. Lot 15, Block 3, Aleutian, is a single-family residential property located within the city of Kodiak. The Borough Finance Department sent a notice to the city of Kodiak, which is listed as Exhibit B to the Commission's resolution, and the city did not respond to this letter, which asks whether the city had a purpose for this property. The borough does not have a public use or future use for this property. Therefore, this property can go through the disposal process. Staff does recommend that the commission make a positive recommendation to the assembly for disposal of these properties. And also, that would, again, we have a recommended motion before you to adopt FY 2026-003 resolution. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Okay. With that, we're going to go ahead and open the public hearing for this item. Anybody wishing to call in and speak can use our local number 907-486-3231 or the toll-free number 1-855-492-9202. If you're calling in, please make sure to state your name for the record. If you're here in the audience to speak, please sign in and also state your name clearly for the record. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Thank you.
I don't have public comment, but you do need in your motion to adopt the findings of facts listed in your motion so that you don't have to come back and do that.
The findings of
Findings of
fact, I
fact
think, are in the
They're
resolution.
They're in the resolution.
No, but when you move to adopt, to do this, you have to adopt the findings of facts also. It needs to be in your motion.
So we did used to do that, but we did that before we started using the resolution format. And there had been confusion a couple of times that we had either not enough people to pass it or denied it. But I think the goal, one of the goals, right, in drafting it as a resolution and having the findings contained in it would be that.
I mean, you could always do an approval, basically do a motion to approve the resolution based on findings in the staff report. That would be sufficient to do it. I mean, they are in the resolution too, but that would cover everything.
Could we get clarification on that from the attorney before our next
can.
meeting?
Yeah, I mean, my understanding was now this may not be, I didn't talk to him about disposals, but when it came to quasi-judicial reviews, I did speak to him about that, and we don't have to state the findings in those if it's in the resolution, as long as you're not changing the findings that's recommended in the resolution. But I can check with him on disposals and see if that's makes a different situation.
Okay. That'd be great. Thanks. Do we have anybody on the phone? Haley? Nope. Okay. We don't have anybody here in the audience either to speak to this matter, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. and open the floor back up for commission discussion and a potential amendment of the motion to include approval of the findings of fact in the staff report. Would anybody care to make a motion?
I move to adopt the Planning and Zoning Commission Resolution Number FY 2026-003.
So we have a motion on the floor. The motion that we need now is an amendment to that motion to add approval of the findings.
And I think we basically just state that you're using the findings from the staff report, if that's what you want to do.
Move to adopt the findings.
Okay, so I'd like to amend my motion to move to adopt the Planning and Zoning Commission Resolution Number FY 2026-03 with the findings of fact as stated in the staff report. Is that sufficient?
Okay,
Yes.
so we've got a motion. We need a second?
Second it.
Okay. All right. So could we get a roll call vote on that amendment, please, Haley?
On the amendment, Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Dagan,
Yes.
Ms. Craig,
Yes.
Ms. Williamson.
Yes.
Would anyone wish to change their vote? Motion passes.
Okay, so we now have an amended motion on the floor. Any additional discussion on this agenda item before we vote on the motion as amended? Nope. Okay, can we go ahead and get a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Dagan,
Yes.
Ms. Craig,
Yes.
Ms. Williamson.
Yes.
Does anyone wish to change their vote? Motion passes.
Thank you. Let's move on to item C, case number 25-013, similar use determination for a child care center to reside within North Star Elementary.
Okay.
Okay, let's see here. Can I get a motion, please?
I move to adopt Planning and Zoning Commission Resolution FY 2026-004.
Second.
Is that with the staff report and findings of fact as well?
Yes, that is.
All right.
Should we state it then? Do you want to restate the motion before we get a second so we don't have to amend it?
Yeah, I think you might as well do that, yes.
I move to adopt the Planning and Zoning Commission Resolution Number FY 2026-004 to include the findings in fact provided by the staff.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Can we get the staff report, please?
Yes, thank you. Similar use determinations are permitted at the Commission's discretion under KIBC 1715-090, and the applicant, the Kodiak Borough, has requested a similar use determination to determine that a daycare use is permitted in the public use lands or PL district because the use is similar in character and intensity to a school use, which is a permitted use within the PL district. The location of the subject property is the North Star Elementary School building, which recently closed. There's potential that daycare services could take place in a portion of the elementary school building. Currently, daycares are not permitted uses listed in the PL district, and the similar use determination would allow the commission to approve the use within the zoning district. If the commission agrees, there is a similar use permitted within the zone. The use of a daycare is most like a school use within the PL district, except for potential hours of operation. However, it is not anticipated that a daycare at this location would have hours of operation that are dissimilar to an elementary school, and staff does not foresee that a daycare use would pose a potential nuisance to surrounding properties. In fact, daycare services at this location would increase access to daycare services in this part of the community and can be viewed as an asset to the surrounding neighborhood. Therefore, staff recommends that a daycare use be determined similar in both character and impact to a school, which is a permitted use in the PL district. The commission may impose conditions of approval based on the commission's review of the daycare use on this property within the PL district. However, staff does not recommend the need to add any conditions to this use. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
No? Questions for Chris? Before we open the public hearing? Okay. All right. With that, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing for this item. Anybody wishing to call in can call 907-486-3231. You can call toll free at 1-855-492-9202. If you're calling in, please make sure to clearly state your name for the record. Those that will be testifying here in the room with us, please make sure that you sign in and also state your name for the record before speaking. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Seema Garut. I am the assessor, and I just wanted to let you guys know that last Thursday at the assembly meeting, the Shunak tribe did do a presentation, and it was received wholeheartedly by the assembly. So they did state that it was open to all children. They had the opportunity of being able to grant 40 more kids a place in daycare with the opportunity of getting this similar use designation also. So please approve. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Seema. Appreciate it. Is there anybody on the phone, Haley? Nobody else wishing to come forward in the audience? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing then, and commence commission discussion. Any comments from the commission? Go ahead, Mr. Dagan.
I believe this is a good use of the property that we're looking to use and allow for use. And so I'm a firm believer in changing this for the benefit of our community. Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else?
I'm just going to say I agree. Having kids myself, well, mine are all grown and out of childcare, but there's always a need, and so I'm excited to see this go through. Thank you.
I also agree. I have children that are the age of needing childcare after school. And for those who maybe haven't heard, we do have the YMCA coming and offering after-school childcare at our other elementary school facilities as well. So I think this similar use determination request is timely, and I fully intend to vote yes on our motion. One last chance? Discussion? Nope. Okay. All right, Haley, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Dagan,
A resounding yes.
Ms. Craig,
Yes.
Ms. Williamson.
Yes.
Does anybody wish to change their vote? The motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to item D, case number 26-001, land disposal of U.S. Survey 3465, Lot 1A-4, a portion of the property as depicted on a draft preliminary plat dated February 22nd, 2019. Can I get a motion, please?
I move to adopt Planning and Zoning Commission Resolution Number FY 2026-005, and the findings of fact stated therein by the staff.
I second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Can I get a staff report, please, Chris?
Yes, thank you. On January 6, 2025, the Borough Lands Committee approved a motion recommending to the Assembly to declare surplus to public need the 4 lots identified on the draft preliminary plat dated February 22nd, 2019, also listed as Exhibit A to your resolution, which have subdivided Lot 1A-4 USS 3465, Plat 1993-12 into roughly 4 lots, and basically outlined in the plat image at the end of the staff report, plus a remainder parcel. The 4 lots created are those recommended for the disposal. The remainder property currently contains a parking area, an area for solid waste dumpsters, and a recreation area. And the proposed 4 lots are vacant areas, with 3 of the lots heavily forested. On May 1st, 2025, the Assembly reviewed the recommendation of the Borough Lands Committee and subsequently approved Resolution FY 2025-24, accepting the Borough Lands Committee recommendation and directing the Borough Manager to begin the disposal process. An administrative application was filed by the Borough Manager on July 15th, 2025. Kodiak Island Borough Code 1820-030 requires each proposed land disposal to be reviewed by the Planning and Zoning Commission before submission to the Assembly. And pursuant to KIBC 1820-030, the Commission is required to make a recommendation to the Assembly by resolution regarding the proposed land disposal. The primary purpose of the Commission's review is to consider if the land identified would be considered surplus to borough needs. The current zoning of the property is public use land in the PL District. However, the Borough Lands Committee recommended to the Assembly that the 4 proposed lots be rezoned to the R2 District to allow additional housing to be constructed to meet the needs of the community. The proposed land disposal is a portion of the property. In this case, the portion of the property proposed for disposal is vacant and undeveloped. The current future land use map designation is public facilities. However, the current public facility on the property is the parking area, the dumpster location, as well as the recreational area. Therefore, proposed disposal of the vacant and undeveloped portions of the property will not adversely impact the public facility portion of the property. And there's no current or future public need for this portion of the subject property that is currently vacant. And therefore, this would be considered surplus to public need. And therefore, staff has recommended to the Commission that they forward a recommendation to the Assembly to dispose of the property and establish it for a future land sale. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Any clarifying questions of Chris before we open the public hearing? Nope, seeing none. Let's go ahead and open the public hearing. Anybody on the phone wishing to testify, you can use our local number 907-486-3231 or the toll-free number at 1-855-492-9202. If you're calling in, please state your name clearly for the record. Those of you who are in the room with us wishing to testify, please write your name on the form for us at the podium, and then also state your name clearly for the record. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker.
Good evening. This is Don Swanson, and I live in that neighborhood, fairly close to what's going on. Part of this got addressed a couple of years ago as well, and then it just kind of went by the wayside. They were wanting to develop some of those lots. What I'm seeing here now is, it's a big part of that, as I appreciate, because I live right down 492 Shahafka at the end. And that part right close to me, bordering me, is being left alone. Couple of things that I want to address, if this in fact goes through, is there's quite an issue of water drainage in that area. Everything comes from further up the street. I guess it would be towards the Safeway direction, but right neighboring me is pretty much a swamp. And just on the other side of the swamp is where the playground's at and the dumpster area and such. The areas that are going to be made into lots appear to be much higher and dry. But when this does, or if it does happen, I would really, really like to have that water issue thought about, and just so we don't create more water that floods the existing properties or the properties they intend to put in. water is an issue there. So I would like that addressed. And also, the timbered area, and that was discussed in here too. Everybody that lives there appreciates the fact that that timber's there, and just like, not in my neighborhood kind of thing, you know. Everybody talks about that, but the more trees that are taken down, the more vulnerable the ones that are there. And I just would like that to be part of the thought process, that everybody's kind of careful when all that happens, and those two things, trees and water, being an issue that is addressed. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Swanson. Do we have anybody else who'd like to testify?
Good evening. My name is Scott Arndt. I thought it may be appropriate to give you a little history on this. Originally, along the Island Lake section where it shows the 3 lots now, that was originally proposed as a 4-lot subdivision. And like Mr. Swanson stated, because of the drainage problems, that subdivision was cut back to 3 lots on there, the 3 that you see on Island Lake Road. The part of the condition of approval of that original 3-lot subdivision, that I'd like to eventually, when you have the subdivision before you, that it remains a condition, and that is that there's a drainage ditch that gets installed along the back of that. There is basically, this is the water that is the entire drainage system from Safeway, Walmart, and all of Island Lake Road, and Crestview subdivision comes this way through here. So it kind of meanders all over the place. So the Lands Committee added the 4th lot over here, and it's kind of hard to tell, but once we get into the subdivision, the easement is being expanded a little bit. That's why you see the purple line isn't right on the edge of the easement line, because the intent is to enlarge that easement. So that's just to give you a little history on there, but like Mr. Swanson said, drainage is a problem and we need to accommodate it through there. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arndt. Haley, is there anybody on the phone?
No calls.
Okay. Seeing nobody else wishing to testify, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and open the floor for commission discussion.
I think we're long overdue for opening up a few more lots here for public availability. So I plan to vote for this resolution.
Thanks, Court.
I'm agreeable with Commissioner Court as well. However, I also heed the need for the infrastructure for the drainage. And so if we can make sure that that gets put into this development, I would greatly appreciate that. It will help in so many ways to alleviate and decompress some of the issues that are in that community. Thank you.
I have a question. So if we put in that, the drainage has to be taken care of, whose job is it to make sure that the drainage is actually going to get done?
So you wouldn't be doing that as part of this action. So you're going to have other actions that come before the Planning and Zoning Commission, namely a subdivision, but also a rezoning request to go to R2, which follows the Borough Lands Committee's request, and also what was approved for the assembly in terms of direction to the manager. So we would handle the drainage issues, any drainage easements, any development, any kind of improvements that are needed would be conditions of approval or can be conditions of approval on the subdivision request. That will have to come to the commission for review, that subdivision action, and therefore you have the opportunity to put conditions of approval on the preliminary plat, which would have to be completed prior to recordation, or it's done through a bonding process. But typically, those improvements are usually done prior to the final plat being approved and ultimately recorded in the state recorder's office.
And Tracy, those are required to be done by the property owner, so in this case, it would be the borough.
Okay. I just want to make sure if we put it in there that it's actually going to get done and not fall by the wayside.
Valid question. I too am in support of this. I think for these particular lots, this is a long time coming just because I was involved when the Borough Lands Committee initially looked at these, over 5 years ago. It's been a little bit. So appreciate the renewed interest, and hopefully these lots get in the hands of some folks that would like to build homes sooner than later. Okay, with that, if there's no additional comment, let's go ahead and do a roll call vote, please.
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Dagan,
Yes.
Ms. Craig,
Yes.
Ms. Williamson.
Yes.
Does anyone wish to change their vote? Motion passes.
Thank you. Brings us to our last public hearing item for the evening, case number 26-002, Planning and Zoning Commission Bylaws Revision. Can I get a motion, please?
Yes, I move to adopt the changes in the Planning and Zoning Commission bylaws as presented.
I second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Can we get a staff report, please?
Yes, thank you. The proposed changes to the Planning and Zoning Commission bylaws address several issues, such as quorum and voting requirements, especially in regard to quasi-judicial actions, use of executive sessions, work session review of quasi-judicial items, electronic participation by commissioners, and then also commissioner training requirements. If you have any questions on any of those detailed changes, please let me know. Thank you.
Okay, any questions for Chris before we open the public hearing? All right, seeing none, let's go ahead and open our public hearing. If you'd like to call in and provide comment, you can call our local number at 907-486-3231 or our toll-free number at 1-855-492-9202. If you are calling in, please make sure to state your name clearly for the record. If you're here in the room with us this evening and you come up to the podium, please make sure to write your name down and also state your name clearly for the record before speaking. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Anybody on the phone, Haley? No? Okay, seeing nobody wishing to speak, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and open the floor for commission discussion. Comments from the commission? Mr. Dagan?
Should we consider delaying this until we have a full count of commissioners?
I feel like this is an item that we've discussed kind of at length at work sessions.
Okay.
So, I mean, I would feel comfortable moving it forward. I certainly don't want to speak for everybody else that's sitting here, but I don't have any reservations, I don't think, in voting this evening.
I agree with Sarah. I think we've talked about this quite a bit.
Any other comments? Nope. I think this is long overdue, so thank you to staff for modernizing these bylaws and getting them in line with some of the changes that the Assembly has also made. I think that it was also important to make the clear connection between Alaska statute with things like executive session and deliberation and such. So really appreciate it. Thank you. Can we get a roll call vote, please, Haley?
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Dagan,
Yes.
Miss Craig, Miss Williamson.
Yes.
Does anyone wish to change their vote? Motion passes.
Thank you. That concludes our public hearings for the evening. We do not have any old business. We do not have any new business. We do not have any planning and zoning case result letters, and we do not have any abbreviated or final plat approvals for subdivisions. So let's go ahead to director's comments.
All right, thank you. So related to Plan 2045 Comprehensive Plan update, staff has had two potential, or actually tried, attempts to go to Uzinki, which we're also scheduled now to go try for the third time to go tomorrow. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. We did have a good conversation online with officials of the city, the Native Village organization, as well as the Native Corporation yesterday afternoon for 3 hours, and got through a lot of good information and discussion about the comprehensive plan. So we look forward to hopefully traveling there tomorrow and finishing that discussion and touring some of the facilities that they would like to show us. So hopefully that happens. And we're also scheduled to go to Old Harbor on September 13th. And I think there's a possibility that we may be also in early September going to Larson Bay, but that has not been officially set just yet. On our second piece here, hydrology and hydraulic study for Sergeant Creek and Russian River, we do have the final report, and also I can also update here a little bit more. The presentation to the Assembly at a work session is now scheduled for September 11th at that work session. So River Focus Incorporated will be presenting the findings of that findings report at that meeting, and that's kind of their last task they have to do before it completes their contract and that particular grant award. And I will say that it is probably about 2 months before the end of the grant, so early. That project would be finished early and certainly on time. And we do appreciate the work that they've done on this project. On the hazard mitigation plan, I can update on this too, because as of Monday, FEMA has approved the hazard mitigation plan for the borough, and it's also in effect for the two cities that adopted it, which is Larson Bay and Port Lyons. We're hoping at our meeting tomorrow with Uzinki, we can get them to put it on their, as a resolution onto their city council agenda to get it adopted, and we hope we're still working with the other communities to get the plan adopted. I will say once those communities have adopted it, those approvals will go to FEMA, and FEMA will update the approval for those communities. So it'll show that they'll now have a hazard mitigation plan that they can apply for grants and other things like that that use a hazard mitigation plan. And then for future work sessions, our next work session is on September 10th. We're going to continue to work on definitions related to short-term rentals. And then we're also going to put on here a review of the current staff report format and talk to the commission about what they think about the current format, or if there's any concerns they have or anything they'd like us to explore. And again, that packet review will happen on the 10th for the September 17th regular meeting. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Thanks, Chris. Questions for Chris?
Will that hydrology study, once after it's given to the Assembly, will it be available?
Their
public?
president, we can make it available on our website, as well as the findings report. We'd be happy to do that.
That would be great, thanks. Other questions for Chris? Nope, okay. Let's move on then to citizens' comments. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. To make comments via phone, you can use our local number at 907-486-3231 or our toll-free number at 855-492-9202. If If you're calling in, please make sure to state your name clearly for the record. If you're here in the audience with us, please make sure to write your name and also state your name clearly for the record. Public comments during citizens' comments are for general topics only, not for any of the public hearing items. Okay, so it looks like we don't have anybody in the audience, and we do not have anybody on the phone. So let's head down to commissioner comments. We'll start with Athena's this evening, if that's okay.
Thank you guys all for being here. We appreciate your guys' comments.
Yes, thank you for the citizen comments. Thank you for taking the time to contribute your opinions there. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. I know it's hard when it's so nice out. And thank you for all the work that you guys do for all your reports, making it easy for us.
Thank you, Chris, for the diligent work that you're doing and that mitigation plan. Thank you very much. Thank you, Haley, for keeping us on task and helping to document all of our work. Thank you, my fellow commissioners, for the work that you do and how you have guided us through this process. And lastly, thank you for our citizens who have stepped up to communicate their wishes. I wish we could have more citizen participation. It is a civic obligation that we should all be engaged in our local government. Thank you.
Okay, that leaves me. I'll echo what Mr. Dagan said. Mr. Swanson, Scott, Seema, thank you guys for participating. Always exciting to have folks who are here and willing to share their input at public hearings. The only other thing I had is that I will not be here for the next work session. I will be out of the country, but I will be back for the regular meeting. With that, I'll move down to announcements from the chair. Our next work session is September 10th at 6:30 p.m. here in Assembly Chambers. Our next regular meeting will be here in Assembly Chambers September 17th at 6:30 p.m. We're at the end of the agenda, guys. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I request a motion to adjourn the meeting. Sorry.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Motion and a second. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Right, we're going to adjourn at 7:18. Thanks, everybody. Okay.